Hey guys, Mr. BetSmart here. Come for the match betting and stay for the finances. Today we're talking about the altcoin gems that I'm holding in my KuCoin wallet and also in my Coinbase wallet. Now I'm just going to talk through the fundamentals of them and what's going on with them and why I believe they could have a significant pump at the end of this year and at the end of this bull run. But I'm going to stop talking and let's just jump into the monitors and get started. So the first small altcoin that I'm holding is called Lattice. Now Lattice is an exchange, as you can see here, and it's decentralized, which means that you can have cross-chain interactions and communications rather than just having a centralized exchange, a little bit like Binance. So as you can see here, it's also got really low fees. It's almost zero fee, and it's a horizontally scalable decentralized network as well, which means that you can actually build on top of the network, which I think sounds like a really good fundamental use case. Now, looking at coin market cap, which is always really useful to do for these altcoins, just to see what's going on with the actual market analysis of it. It's only got a market cap of 36 million, which is really low, which is a good thing if you want a small alt to pump, and because it's got way more room to grow, but also it means it could go to zero. So all of these, just a disclaimer that all of these altcoins are a gamble and your money could go to zero. So just please bear that in mind. This is only around 15% of my portfolio for crypto that I'm doing this for, but I feel like as we're coming to the end of the bull run, as I said before, I want to be picking up these alts and being in a position for potential massive gains. But I am happy for these to go to zero, and I'm not putting in my entire portfolio on it, so just bear that in mind. It's clearly not gone astronomical yet, which is a good sign that it could still pump. Next we have API 3, which I think is also another really good altcoin. It is quite a low market cap, and it's essentially trying to be a chain link killer and solve something called the Oracle problem. Now I'm not going to dive into it too much as I'm just talking about what coins I'm investing in here, but essentially API stands for Application Programming Interface, and it just means that you can have instant communications between different networks and businesses. Basically you can just communicate really quickly to different places. An example of an API might be pulling out weather. So you could have a bit of code which you could send off with something called an endpoint, and then with that endpoint you could say, I want the location of Bristol's weather, and then you could send that endpoint off and get the weather back almost instantaneously. And it's bringing this API communications to the crypto world. So the market cap of this is just under 200 million. So it's not as low as Lattice, so it's not a really small altcoin, but it is still small enough to, if it hit anywhere near the heights of Chainlink, that it could see a 10x or a 15x. But I am just holding this one to see what happens, and I've always been quite keen on API 3, and hearing that it was on KuCoin meant that I could really easily obtain it rather than having to go through all the faff of PancakeSwap and Uniswap. It's also seen all-time highs go up to almost $10, and it's retraced back down to around 5 in the last few months, which means that it can also still have room to grow, which means that it probably did reach around a 400 million market cap there. So the 200 million market cap at the moment still does have some room to grow, but it's not as small of an altcoin as Lattice was, so that's something else to bear in mind. Another coin I'm investing in is Trias. Now Trias is one that's looking at making reliable, intelligent, autonomous systems, and I think it's going to revolutionize the modern intelligence space. Some of the things they're doing looks really impressive, and it's a really legit project that I think does have room to grow. It's also sitting at a really small market cap of 27 million, which is pretty tiny, and which means that this could 10x relatively easily. So that's another one that could do really well. It's sat at around $17 price at the moment, and it had a massive pump up to around $30 before, and it has pumped a little bit recently, but at such a low market cap it still has really high possibilities. Next we have Xcur, and now Xcur is a really interesting one because it's very risky because it's to do with the NFT space, and I really think the NFT space is going to fall off the edge of the world at the end of this bull market, where 99% of NFTs are going to go to zero, and a lot of the marketplace aren't going to do well. But also, if the NFT hype continues over the next couple of months, this could pump massively because of the adoptions we've seen of NFTs, and the prices go crazy. Now this is basically an NFT marketplace which has gasless fees, so you don't have to pay for the transaction fees and all the gas is to do with buying the NFTs. This is such a cool one. It's also multi-chain, and I really like the look of Xcur, and it's also like Lattice and Trias that it has a small market cap. So as we can see, it's only around 40 million, which means it has a really high possibility of places it can go. If it hit 1 billion, it would be unbelievable. But at a price of $5, and the fact that it has pumped previously over 10 shows that it probably still has some decent value if there is another run up. Now, again, as I'm saying all throughout this video, make sure you do your own research and don't FOMO into these projects when they already pump. You want to find projects with fundamentals and good functionality that actually have use cases and reasons for them to pump. And then you want to just hold them until they either do, or you can take your money out at a later date. But you don't want to just be buying them and then selling them when there's some sort of drop. You want this to be money that you're happy to lose and be happy to sit on until something drastic happens. Now, this is AMP as well. This is actually a relatively larger coin. It's got around a market cap, I think, of around 3 billion. But essentially, AMP is going to provide security and verification of transactions across blockchains. So this is the perfect part that you can see here, why AMP, where it helps decentralize the risk for your users with smart contract features. The project's completely audited as well, and it's tested, freely available for anyone to use. And it's just something that as we come more into adoption of crypto, it's going to be such a key one. And actually, it has been doing really, really well the last few days. I do hold a bit more of AMP than everything else. As you can see, it's got 42% increase, which is insane. So that's actually, I've been holding that one for quite a while, and over the last month, it's had an insane gain from around 5 to around 7 cents. So I might take a little bit of money out from that pump and just leave the rest to hold on for a bit longer. But I do think that AMP could see some really astronomical gains as well, especially as the whole crypto market has been falling in the last few days. For this to pump 40% does say a lot. And finally, we've got Axie Infinity. Now, if you have not seen this website, it is really, really cool and shows how professional and big the community is for Axie Infinity. It has pumped a little bit already, but if I just show you this website, you can see that it's got basically, it's an NFT marketplace game where people can buy NFTs for their characters, and then they can go and play the game with other people. Now, this is actually a bit of a more riskier one, and I'm just showing this one as a little bit of a bonus because it has already pretty majorly pumped, and it has already got a market cap of 8 billion, which is pretty massive for an NFT game. But it does have really good staking on Binance of around 130%, so that's why I'm holding it. I think I picked it up around here during this pump, which probably wasn't the best idea, but I saw the staking opportunity and thought it was a good idea just to stake, because even if the price dropped, I would have had to have dropped very considerably to have lost any money, but that's more of a riskier gameplay. I'm thinking of pulling my money out of that one as well. Just a final disclaimer that these are all very high risk because they are small market caps, apart from Axie Infinity and AMP. Those are a bit larger, but the rest do have really small market caps, which means they do have really high room to grow, but it also means that they could literally go to zero. And with the bear market incoming, in my opinion, some of these probably could go to zero, because 95% of cryptos after these bull runs do go to zero. So need to be aware of that, and need to be aware to pull out profits whenever any of these pump. And there we have it. Those are the 5 altcoin gems that I am holding on my KuCoin wallet. Now, these ones might go to zero. This is a little bit of a gamble, but with low market caps, it's possible that they might pump. So it's worth a punt, in my opinion, especially at the end of this bull run where a lot of altcoins tend to do really, really well. As soon as I see any movement with these sorts of coins, I am looking to pull my money out as quick as possible. So it is a short-term play, but I feel like the altcoin season is upon us, and at the end of this bull run, there could be some massive gains. So let's just have a go and see what happens. I'm happy for this money to go to zero. It is a little bit of a gamble, but as I am quite young in my age, I feel like I can take on much higher risk. And that is something that I am totally comfortable with. So if you were going to do something similar, then make sure you're comfortable with that as well. This is not financial advice at all. I'm just talking through my experience and what I'm investing in. So I hope that was useful. If you can chuck a subscribe and hit the bell notification on whenever I post a new video, well, that would be ace. And we're back to the portfolio breakdowns monthly video next week. And yeah, I hope that was useful, and I will see you next time.